Today's breakfast is inspired by these beautiful tomatoes. It's finally tomato season, and even though I tend to eat tomatoes almost all year round, you really can't beat the taste and smell of summer tomatoes. So today I'm making some cayenne, which is basically scrambled eggs with cooked tomatoes. And since I'm using baby tomatoes, I just pulse them a few times in my food chopper, but if you're using big tomatoes, you can just use a grater instead. I added some olive oil to my pan and then added my tomatoes to cook for a few minutes. I season with salt and pepper, and while that's cooking, I'm also toasting some bread. I've been loving this Jason sourdough one, so I'm just adding a slice to my toaster. And now, as you can see, my tomato is cooked and not releasing any more water, so I'm ready to add my eggs. I'm doing 2 today, so I just cracked them in a little bowl, whisked them well, and then added them to my tomatoes and scrambling them with a wooden spoon. And they only take a minute or two to get the egg fully cooked, so once that's finished, I'm also prepping some avocado. I just cut one in half and mashing it and adding some salt and pepper. Once my toast was ready, I added it to my plate and then topping with the avocado, and then I've been obsessed with adding some cottage cheese on top. I think I've had this breakfast for weeks now and I'm still not bored of it. The cottage cheese works so well with the avocado and of course provides lots of protein to make sure I'm nice and full throughout the morning. I then added my cayenne and finishing them with a sprinkle of parsley. This is such a great balanced breakfast and it came to 435 calories and 26 grams of protein. I honestly can't get enough of this breakfast, it's so good. Breakfast is ready and this smells so summery. I love cayenne for summer because it's obviously tomato season and they just smell so fragrant, so nice, and yeah, I can't wait to dig in. So let's try the cayenne. Summer in a plate. It's so good. And I usually add feta on my cayenne, but today I decided to do cottage cheese on the side for extra protein. And it's actually a very delicate taste without the feta. It's not like, because I put a lot of feta, so once you have my cayenne, it's like boom, feta on your face. But today is actually very nice and light and the tomatoes are so flavorful. Obviously if you can get good quality tomatoes, that makes such a big difference because it's such a simple dish, you need good quality ingredients, but I'm very happy with this. So let's give a try of the avocado toast. I've been loving cottage cheese. I add it to so many things because it has so much protein. I really like the taste, and especially for breakfast I've been switching up things, like if I were to have Edam cheese or Gouda cheese, I switched to cottage cheese and it actually has so much more protein for much less calories. So it's such a good swap if you're trying to eat more protein. Definitely give it a go. And as I've said before, that Longley Farm is the best cottage cheese. If you don't like cottage cheese, try that brand, either the fat-free or the full fat. I can't find the full fat, I don't mind which one I get, they both taste delicious. But for the past few weeks I've only been able to find the fat-free one, which again tastes delicious, so I'm happy with either, as long as it's Longley Farm. So good. Such a great breakfast. It feels very fresh, very light, but also high in protein, so I know will keep me nice and full. And the bread, as you saw, it's Jason sourdough. And I actually looked at the ingredients and I was amazed because it doesn't have any preservatives, doesn't have any things that you don't recognize. It's just flour and yeast and things like that. Maybe it doesn't even have yeast because it's sourdough. I don't know. But basically, very good ingredients, and I put it in the freezer, toasted it straight from the freezer, and it's perfect. I do like getting local bakery bread as well, but my pet peeve with that is they don't cut it, and my cutting skills are ridiculous. I cut such bad slices, so if they can cut it for me in nice thin slices, that would be amazing. But also when we get the fresh bread, it just goes so quickly, whereas this, if we put it in the freezer, it just for some reason last much longer. And then a quick update on Slimming World. I decided to take a little break from it and do calorie counting instead. And the reason for that is basically I haven't been following it. It felt more like a diet plan this past few weeks and it felt like I need to be on plan, and that made me have the mindset of, oh, if I had a non-Slimming World friendly meal, it's just I'm off plan, so it doesn't matter and I can't really back in. So I decided to give calorie counting a go. Obviously I don't know how it will go, but I have been enjoying using it as a tool and seeing how many calories is in things that I usually eat, and quite eye-opening because I tend to underestimate how many calories if it's healthy food. So if you haven't tracked calories, it's definitely very interesting to see how many calories are in things. And I do have the premium version. I use my MyFitnessPal because that gives me the breakdown of the protein as well, because I am focusing on eating more protein because that makes me feel full and it makes me feel good. So that's a quick update. If you have any questions about Slimming World, calorie counting, leave them in the comments, and hopefully you still find these videos useful. So yeah, I'm gonna go enjoy and I'll see you for lunch. For lunch, I wanted to make the viral hot honey beef bowl, so I'm starting by making my hot honey first. I'm using Greek honey, as we've established by now it is the best, so I'm adding a tablespoon of honey in my bowl and then adding some chili flakes. And as I wanted it to be easily drizzable, I added a bit of water and stirred it around. Then it's time for the potatoes, so I just cut them in cubes and then adding them to my air fryer to cook for about 20 to 25 minutes at 190 degrees Celsius. For spices, I just use salt and pepper and some paprika, and of course a few sprays of olive oil. And while the potatoes are cooking, I'm making my mince. I love this recipe as everything was super quick and simple to prepare. The mince is just cooked plain with salt and pepper, and the original recipe calls for taco seasoning, but I was out of that, so I'm using harissa, and actually prefer the harissa version as I made the original too, but I think the harissa gives it even more depth of flavor and a nice spice as well. I let the mince saute until fully cooked, stirring occasionally, and when everything was cooked, I started by serving some salad to my bowl first. I added some olive oil, vinegar and salt, and then adding my potatoes and mince. And since I'm doing calorie counting now, I just used a little bowl to weigh everything before adding them to my bowl, and it was a bit annoying at first having to do that for everything, but I'm used to it now and it's quite easy when you got a digital scale. I then added some cottage cheese and then finishing off with my hot honey. And my lunch is ready. This came to 587 calories and 36 grams of protein, so perfect for my lunch. My hot honey beef bowl is ready and this looks amazing. I can't wait to tuck in. I decided not to add avocado. I'll see if it needs it, but for the time being I thought the cottage cheese would be enough. So let's give it a try. I'm so excited. I'm gonna have a bite of everything. Very good. The harissa gives it such a nice flavor. It's not too spicy and not too sweet. I'm not the biggest fan of sweet things on top of savory, but I think it needs a bit more honey. I didn't have any taco seasoning that the original recipe calls for, so I decided to add some harissa that I had open in the fridge. I also didn't have sweet potato, but I thought normal potato would also work great, and it really does. Yeah, I need a bit more time on the honey. Definitely. Ooh, spicy. It definitely needed a bit more honey because it gives it a nice balance of flavors. Oh, it's so good. I don't think it needs the avocado. I think maybe if you were doing taco seasoning, it would go more, but with the spicy. Yeah, I think with the harissa, it doesn't really need the avocado, and I had half an avocado in the morning, so I didn't really fancy more avocado. Yeah, it's a good one. Another thing that I meant to mention earlier with calorie counting is the amount of freedom that I feel with not having specific options. So for the mince, for example, for it to be free on Slimming World, it needs to be the 5%. But sometimes I want the 15%. It's a bit more flavorful because I cook for the kids. Obviously they're not gonna have this because it's spicy, but I prefer to use the higher fat when I cook family meals. Things like white sourdough, I like to have sourdough as well, not just the specific wholemeal options that they give you as healthy extra B. So yeah, I'm enjoying having a bit more variety and just feeling a bit more free in terms of what I'm eating throughout the day. So yeah, I thought I'd mention because I forgot earlier. So good. The roast pepper goes so well on the salad. That was a good addition. I'm gonna go enjoy and I'll see you for a very exciting and very summery dessert. For dessert, I made a frozen yogurt bark, which, spoiler alert, was so good and perfect as a light, high-protein summery dessert. It was also super quick and easy to prepare. I simply mixed all the ingredients in a big bowl, so my Greek yogurt, honey and vanilla, and then spread it on a baking pan lined with baking paper. I used a spoon to get it as thin as I could, and then it's time for the toppings.
and you can have fun with the toppings and do any fruits that you like, chopped nuts, chocolate, or even crispy cereal. Today I went with berries, slivered, is that how you say it? Slivered? Those almonds and white chocolate, and that combination was so delicious, I definitely recommend. It also made a big batch, so I had a yummy and low-calorie dessert for a few weeks. Once I finished with the toppings, I simply placed it in the freezer to set, and after a few hours I cut it in bars and served myself one before storing the rest into airtight containers and back into the freezer. And then dinner time, we're making another version of a healthy pizza. Honestly, are you surprised? I want pizza pretty much every night. And this version I think is one of my favorites, although it turned out more like a flatbread, but it was such a yummy and light option for summer. To make it, I mixed all the ingredients in my bowl, so the all-purpose flour, egg whites, Greek yogurt, baking soda and garlic powder, and then spread it in a baking pan lined with baking paper. I spread the mixture so it's nice and thin and placed it in the oven to bake at 220 Celsius for about 10 minutes. And while that's baking, I'm preparing my topping. So today I did baby tomatoes, so I'm slicing them in half. And also these small peppers, these are so yummy and perfect as a pizza topping. I also did some Kalamata olives, and I always prefer to buy the ones with the pits as they are so much more flavorful, and to easily remove the pit I just squeeze the olive and then it's so much easier to remove them. I am also doing some of these roasted peppers, and these are also so yummy and give so much flavor to salads and pizzas. After 10 minutes, I removed my pizza from the oven, flipped it over to the other side, and then topped it with some fresh mozzarella and also some cottage cheese to increase the protein. And I now realize that all my recipes included cottage cheese today, but I just can't help it, I love it. Let me know in the comments, do you like cottage cheese, and what's your favorite way to eat it? Anyways, once the cheese was on the pizza, I then added the rest of my toppings and placed the pizza back in the oven for another 10 minutes or until it's nice and golden and the cheese is melted. I served it on my plate and finished it with a handful of rockets for some extra greens and flavor. This came to 459 calories and a whopping 41 grams of protein for the whole thing, and that was such a good dinner to satisfy my pizza craving but also help me hit my protein goal for the day. I aim to have around 100 grams of protein per day, and today my total was at 116 grams. If you have any questions around calorie counting, leave them in the comments by the way. I know I've not been the biggest fan in the past, but I'm really enjoying it so far, so let me know if you have any questions.
As always, I had no plan for dinner, and as 90% of the time I crave pizza at night. I was basically procrastinating making dinner, went on Instagram, and this recipe came up and it looked amazing and exactly what I was craving. Something fresh, something summery, but also something a bit fun. I don't consider this pizza. I know they had it as a pizza, but I think it's more like a flatbread because also I didn't use any pizza sauce. Looks so good, smells delicious because of the garlic, so let's give it a try. Oh, the mozzarella is so good. And I actually like the combination of mozzarella and cottage cheese. Again, I'm someone that loves cottage cheese, and actually a bit melted, so good. And I can't believe 460 calories for the whole thing. That is a good size pizza slash flatbread slash dinner for me. And 40 grams of protein, that is just amazing, because when I have pizza I'm like, oh, it's fine, it's like not that much protein, but this 40 grams is amazing. So I'm very happy. It's a bit wet, the dough, but I don't mind it. It's very similar to the cottage cheese pizza, but a bit better, I think. So good. I'm gonna go enjoy with my dash, of course. I have the blackcurrant today. It's not my favorite, but it's good. So if you enjoyed this video and would like to get some more inspiration for some healthy meals, you can check out this video where I show you a bunch of healthy summer bowls, and I'll see you over there. And if you made it this far, comment a tomato emoji.